All right, thanks, guys. Arty Reutimann takes on Kyun, 4:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Kyun is the $1.40 favorite. Arty's plus a dollar. Arty's won 3 out of his last 4 with marquee wins against Trushkin, Nikiforov, and Krichkov during that stretch of victories. Arty's also gone 5-3 straight up in his last 8 as well. Kyun on the other side lost his last 2 straight, while also posting a record of just 2-5 straight up in his last 7. Doesn't look like a great spot for Kyun backers laying the 40-cent juice. I'm going to lean Arty Reutimann plus a dollar, winning this one outright for some moneyline cash. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Saturday's Russian Liga Pro table tennis action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you guys are having a great start to your weekend. Now, before we go ahead and move on with the program, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium sports picks on that website beginning at just $1.99 through the end of the month. We'll bill you the day you sign up, and then on the first of every month following that, we have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. Currently, we have well over 650 members signed up and active on that page. Now, you might be wondering, why would all those folks sign up to receive Patreon picks that they pay for, where they can get them right here for free on YouTube? And that's certainly a great point, a great concern. But there is a big problem with me handicapping every single game on the board side and total. And the problem is this: if you were to bet every single game on the board that I put out here on YouTube side and total, you are guaranteeing yourself failure. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds insane. But if you're going to go ahead and bet every single game that's on the slate with your hard-earned money, it's certainly not a winning formula for success. As a matter of fact, it's a recipe for disaster. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have a lot more money than you and I do combined to be able to absorb that kind of action. And most important, the math becomes aggressively against you the more and more games you play like that. So what I do on Patreon is I make life a lot easier for you. I don't make you pick and choose between a slate of 32 games. I make life a lot easier for you. I break it down and focus in on just 3 to 4 premium selections per day, high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping every single game on the board, side and total. And the good news is this: if you want to check out my current Patreon record, you can actually do that for free right now. It's located right on the homepage. I also have a link for that site in the comments section below as well. All you have to do is click the link in the description section or the comments section. And once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage. And of course, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive back to some more free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube. As always, all starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Sergey Kuzmin taking on Ivan Pander. 4:30 start time. Kuzmin's the $2.50 favorite. Pander's plus 175. Pander's lost 7 out of his last 8. He lost 3 sets to 1 in each and every one of his last 3 losses. Ironically, Pander lost to Sergey 3 sets to 1 in their last head-to-head matchup. And speaking of Sergey, he's garnered himself marquee wins over the likes of Menchikov and Pander within his last handful of games. This is more of a straight fade of Pander more than anything, but give me Sergey Kuzmin winning that one outright. And speaking of Kuzmin, next matchup, Kuzmin right back on the table, this time taking on Vasily Shears, 5 o'clock Eastern start time. Vas is the hottest player right now in professional table tennis, winner of his last 8 straight. He also defeated Kuzmin 3 sets to 2 in their last head-to-head meeting. And speaking of Kuzmin, he's right in the middle of a 3-match losing streak. Loser in 5 out of his last 6 as well. Pretty bad time for Kuzmin here. Even worse, he's been shut out in 2 out of those 5 losses. I got to give the edge to Vas in this spot here. Give me Vas Shears winning that one straight up for some moneyline cash. All right, next contest, it is going to be Arty Reutimann squaring off against Anatoly Trushkin, 5 o'clock start time. Trushkin's dropped 2 out of his last 3, including a 3-2 loss at the hands of Reutimann. Arty on the other side won 3 out of his last 4, With solid wins against the likes of Trushkin, Nikiforov, and Krichkov during that span of victories, got to give the upper hand to Arty in this spot here. Give me Arty Reutimann getting the job done in a close one. Next contest, Hike Lulikian taking on Oleg Nikiforov, 5:30 p.m. Eastern start. Oleg's plus $1.10 on the money line. Hike's laying $1.50. Hike's last two victories did come in convincing fashion. 2-3-0 shutout victories at the dispense of Reutimann and Nikiforov. And speaking of Oleg, he's currently in the middle of a 4-match skid, while also going, listen to this, just 1-7 straight up in his last 8. And even worse, 3 out of those 7 defeats came by way of humiliating shutouts. Gotta fade Oleg in this spot here. Give me Hike Lulikian winning that one straight up. Next matchup, Ivan Pander taking on Andrei Babkin, 5:30 p.m. start. Babkin is the $2 favorite in this one. Pander is plus $1.50. Now Pander's really playing terrible right now. Just 1-7 straight up in his last 8. He's also lost his last 3 straight head-to-head matchups with Babkin. And speaking of Andre, he's won 2 out of his last 3 himself, while also posting a record of 6-2 straight up in his last 8. Even more remarkable, he shut out his opponent in 2 out of his last 4 victories. Looks like Babkin should be able to get the job done here. Give me Andrei Babkin winning this one straight up for some pricey moneyline cash. All right, next contest, it is going to be Andrei Babkin right back on the table, this time versus Sergey Kuzmin in a 6 o'clock showdown. Now, Kuzmin is right in the middle of a 3-match skid, where he also went just 1-5 straight up in his last 6. Kuzmin was also shut out in 2 out of those 5 losses. Now, Babkin, on the other side, absolutely dominant over Kuzmin as of late. A perfect 3-0 straight up in his last 3 head-to-head matchups with Sergey. Looks like another pretty good spot for Babkin backers. Give me Andrei Babkin winning this one straight up. All right, next contest I have for you, it is going to be Oleg Nikiforov squaring off against Arty Reutimann in a 6 o'clock slugfest. Reutimann is the $1.25 favorite in this matchup here. Arty's also 3-1 in his last 4, with a 3-2 victory over Oleg during that stretch. And speaking of Oleg, he's lost his last 4 straight matches, while also posting a dismal record of just 1-7 in his last 8. Gotta fade Nikiforov in this spot here. Give me Arty Reutimann winning that one outright for some moneyline cash. Next contest, it is going to be Vas Shears taking on Ivan Pander, 6:30 start time. Pander's lost 7 out of his last 8, including a 3-0 blowout loss to Vas Shears during that stretch. And speaking of Vas, he's the highest player in pro table tennis right now, currently on an 8-match winning streak. He's beaten the likes of Babkin, Kuzmin, and Menshikov during that stretch. Got to ride with the hot hand in this spot here. Give me Vas Shears winning that one outright for some moneyline cash. And with that, I'm going to slide to my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Anatoly Trushkin taking on Hike Lulikian, 6:30 Eastern start time. Hike's lost his last 2 straight. Is just 2-5 straight up in his last 7. Hike struggled with Trushkin in their last head-to-head matchup, losing 3-2. And speaking of Trushkin, he's 4-3 straight up in his last 7, with victories against Nikiforov and Lulikian during that stretch. I'm going to give the slight edge to Anatoly. Should be a competitive matchup. Give me Anatoly Trushkin getting the job done in a close one. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs, some well-deserved shout-outs brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. Shout out to John Klotz, Big John Klotz. Shout out to Ryan Mast, Abongo Joseph, Ryan David, Mark Baldwin. Shout out to Jay Stacks, Jason Hill, Zymer Trax. Got to give a shout out to Ryan Schumann all the way from South Africa. Also got to give a shout out to Randir Patel, Godson, Browns 2220, who I think's getting into table tennis as of late. Shout out to Brent Hall, Roy Munson, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to Griff HD. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.